There's a brutal truth about attraction that no one teaches you, not in school, not from your friends, and definitely not from those surface-level dating coaches preaching cheap tricks and empty bravado. And that truth is this: 95.7% of women are biologically wired to be drawn not to your money, not to your face, and not even to your charm, but to something far more elusive, something deeper, something raw that lives not in your words, but in your silence, not in what you show, but in what you hold back. And once you understand this, once you stop trying to impress and start learning how to embody this quiet, disciplined, magnetic force, you'll notice something strange begin to happen. Women will start to feel something when you walk into the room, even if you say nothing. They'll start looking at you a second longer, leaning in when you speak, texting you more without you chasing, and they won't even know why, but you'll know. It's because you've stopped trying to win them, and instead started to become the kind of man who doesn't need to win, because he already is the prize. And this changes everything, because this story isn't about teaching you a bunch of pickup lines or empty rules. It's about showing you how to rewire yourself into the man women can't ignore, the man they feel in their bones, the one they talk about when you're not around, the man who teases, who walks away, who whispers without words, who radiates energy that makes her feel like a woman, not because of what he does, but because of who he is. And it all starts with understanding the game most men never even realize they're playing. Because let me ask you something. How many hours have you spent wondering why that one girl pulled away, why she lost interest, why she suddenly stopped replying? And you tell yourself, maybe you weren't attractive enough. Maybe it was your height, your job, your past. When in truth, it was none of that. It was that you gave her everything too soon. You handed her certainty on a silver platter. And what most men don't realize is this: women crave tension, they crave emotional stimulation, and the moment you make things too easy, you kill that tension. You become predictable, and attraction dies in predictability, because the most magnetic men in the world don't just flirt. They tease, they build pressure, they give a little, then pull back. They create an emotional roller coaster that keeps her guessing, keeps her coming back, keeps her addicted. And when you understand that teasing isn't just about being playful, it's about being emotionally intelligent, about knowing exactly how much to give and when to withhold, you start triggering something deeper inside her brain, dopamine, the same chemical that fuels addiction. And suddenly, she finds herself checking her phone more, laughing at your texts more, thinking about you more. And this isn't manipulation, this is polarity. It's understanding that women don't fall for nice guys or bad boys. They fall for men who understand emotional contrast, who can lead the interaction without being needy, who know how to make her feel seen, challenged, and desired without ever having to say, "Please like me." And the next layer to this is even more powerful. It's the willingness to walk away. The man who knows he could have her but doesn't need to. The one who stays centered in his values even when she tests him. And believe me, she will test you. Not because she's cruel, but because she's wired to find the strongest energy in the room. And the man who can say no, the man who doesn't flinch, who doesn't beg, who is fine whether she stays or leaves, that man instantly becomes 10 times more attractive, because we live in a world where most men are starved for female attention, where they'll sacrifice their self-respect just to keep her around. And that desperation bleeds through every message, every compliment, every move they make. But when you're the kind of man who owns his energy, who doesn't chase, who doesn't explain himself, who moves like someone who knows he can walk into any room and command presence without ever needing to prove it, she'll feel that, and she'll wonder, why is he so calm? Why isn't he chasing me? What does he know that I don't? And in that moment, she stops being in control, and you start becoming the man she can't stop thinking about, because mystery is power, And nothing creates mystery like a man who could leave but chooses to stay on his own terms. And once you've mastered this, you can go even deeper into the most primal level of attraction. The man who can turn her on without saying a single word, the one who can make her entire body respond with nothing but eye contact, with a pause, with a subtle touch. And it all comes down to presence, because most men live in their heads. They're anxious, they're performative, they're constantly wondering, am I doing it right? Is she into me? And that energy is repulsive, because women aren't attracted to what you say. They're attracted to how you feel about yourself when you say it. And the man who can hold eye contact just a second longer than expected, who speaks slowly with controlled pauses, who touches her lightly at the right moment and then pulls away like he knows exactly what he's doing. That man taps into a level of tension that no pickup line could ever create. And this is where you start to see a different reaction from women, not the polite laugh or the casual text back, but the look, the shift in her body language, the way she leans in, starts playing with her hair, starts touching you back, because now you've entered a space that most men are afraid to explore, the space where you make her feel something before she even realizes what's happening. And if you really want to master this, you have to learn the final secret, making her feel like a woman, deeply, fully, without apology. And this isn't about domination or control. It's about presence, about grounded masculine energy that holds space for her to surrender into her femininity. And women today are exhausted from always having to be in control, always being strong, always managing everything. And the second she's in front of a man who lets her relax into her softness, who makes her feel beautiful without saying it, who looks at her like she's art but never pedestalizes her, who guides her with calm, deliberate energy, she melts. And it's not because of what he said or did, it's because of how he made her feel in his presence. And this is where real attraction lives, not in tricks or tactics, but in energy, in alignment, in owning your masculine polarity so fully that she can't help but feel her own femininity when she's around you. And that's when she starts to crave you, to fantasize about you, to lose herself in thoughts she doesn't tell anyone, because you're not just a guy she met. You're an experience she felt, and that experience lingers. It lives in her nervous system. It haunts her in the best way. And the truth is, once you understand this, once you stop chasing and start becoming, once you learn how to tease, how to walk away, how to be silent but intense, once you make her feel like a woman in a world that's constantly asking her to be a man, you'll never struggle with attraction again, because women will start chasing you not for your looks, not for your status, but for how you make them feel when you're in the room. And that feeling is what they remember, what they crave, what they never forget. And maybe the most important part of all is this: don't fake it, don't perform it, become it, because energy never lies. And if you try to act like you're confident without doing the inner work, she'll feel the fraud in your energy. But if you actually become grounded, actually stop caring about approval, actually learn how to sit in silence with power, your presence will say everything your words don't have to, and she'll know it, because feminine energy is intuitive. It feels things before it understands them. And when your energy hits her nervous system with strength, calm, and subtle desire, she'll follow that energy without knowing why. And this is the game, the real game, the one most men never figure out, because they're too busy trying to be chosen instead of becoming the man who chooses. And if you can learn this, if you can live this, you won't have to chase women ever again, because they'll feel your presence before you ever open your mouth. And that changes everything.